I think it's a very important topic. I mean, every single one of you has a story. And so the question is about, how do we help that story manifest itself? And I think that's important for us to think about. So that's really what I'm doing here. And there we go, there's my phone. And again, so for me, I want to get some comments going here. I'd love to get some engagement. I'd love to get some feedback. And if you're liking what you're hearing, by all means, let me know where you're from. Let me know if you have any specific question about storytelling or why your story matters. Comment below. If you like what you're hearing, like, comment, heart, light bulb, all that kind of stuff. Tag people, join the conversation. Share it on your own post. Tag people. Let's get as many people as part of the conversation as we possibly can. So let's get right into it. And Dan's like, your topic is so essential. Yes. Okay. So if some of you have actually been to my main website called Ray Allen, on that site, there's a video where I talk about my story. And I say that every single person has a story, a purpose, and a legacy. And the truth is, every single one of you has a story. The story of your life, what you've been through, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything that you've been through, everything that you've learned, everything that you've processed is part of your story and part of your journey. Thank you, and thank you, Sahib. I love the topic, brother. Good. I'm glad you like it. So, it's important for us to first understand that everyone has a story. You may think, well, my story is boring or my life is boring. Not true. That is your own mindset telling you that. You actually have way more than you realize. You have stuff from your birth and when you're born and growing up. You have stuff. You have every lesson learned from your successes, every lesson learned from your failures. You have every lesson learned from people you've worked with, or people who've been mentors to you. In fact, all of us have thousands and thousands of stories that merge into the one main story of you. And you may have many stories, right? I mean, you may have many stories that merge into one, but ultimately they're all part of that one story, that one legacy that's you. And I want to first get through that mindset that you are part of that one story. Get that in your head. You are one story. And every single branding piece and product out there, they all have stories too. We all have stories. And stories matter. Why do stories matter? Because stories are the earliest ways in which humans would connect each other and share their beliefs and their values, their cultures, and their feelings. It's how they would actually teach people. Looks like a lot of people are joining here. So Dan's saying, products and service are shades of gray. Your story is completely unique. That's right. Your story is your uniqueness. It defines you and helps your community connect and relates to a powerful way. Love from Tunisia, interesting topic. Thanks. Welcome from Tunisia. Is such a thing as being too transparent? Great question. I will get to it later because I want to keep going through the content, Dan. But that's a fantastic question. And if you have a question about storytelling or your story or crafting your video story, let me know, comment below, and let's start engaging. So I was talking about the importance of story. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm launching a 7-day speaker confidence program, of course. It's a challenge. And the link's in the post. But the basic gist here is you'll get an email and a short video as well as worksheets and homework every day for 7 days to help you work on your confidence as a speaker, whether you're trying to speak one-on-one or one-on-many or doing videos. But what's also embedded within the program is actually the ultimate goal is I want you to create your own video story, a personal story of you, 2 to 5 minutes long, and I'm going to give you the confidence and tools to help you get there. And that's really what it's about. If you like that, by all means, love, tap, heart, like, that's great. But that's the objective. I want to encourage you to get to that point. And so for me to get you to get to that point, I want to explain to you why your story matters. So we're talking about your story. My story, has different aspects of, my life. So, I have my health story, right, which is about being an overeater, diabetic, struggling with my weight, trying different things that worked and that didn't work, trying to create something sustainable with my weight. I can tell you right now, I'm still doing keto. I'm still doing keto as part of my journey, and I've been losing weight. It's been great. So that's part of my story. The other story I have is my story of my life in terms of growing up with my family and the culture and that I grew up with it. There's a story of my career in terms of having 4 different careers and going from corporate to MBA, back to corporate, then trying different things, and finally deciding to become an entrepreneur. That's part of my story. There's also my story in terms of the struggle of my business, the ups and downs of what's been going on and how I've been evolving my business, evolving my why statement, evolving my mission. And these are all part of my story. I mean, the general story that I share with people is that, for many years I felt lost in my job, stuck in my career, unfulfilled with my work and my life and the people in my life, including my health and my weight. And so now my message to the world is that it's okay to feel that way. It's not okay to do nothing about it. So that's why I'm here posting here on this daily live stream. That's why I'm sharing content. That's why I do keynotes and coaching, all the stuff that I'm doing, because I want to help. I want to help the world, right? And that's my story. My legacy is going to be to help as many hearts as I can find fulfillment, find meaning, find passion, find difference, find something that took their life to a greater level than it was before. And it doesn't matter whether it's a corporate thing or an entrepreneur thing or a personal thing. As long as I can help people, that's really what I do. And I share the good and the bad. I share the vulnerable too, because every time I share a vulnerable story, there's going to be people who like that, but then I get dozens of messages from people, private messages, say that resonate with me. So even the small stories matter. But your story matters because it is uniquely you. It is a chance for you to share who you are, encapsulate a big part of you and your personal brand in a short 2 to 5 minute video, or to do it, you can do a longer one too if you want. But I think it's good to have different levels. You can have the 30-minute video, you can have the 10-minute video, you can have the 3-minute video. And your story is going to empower you to take more ownership of your life. Your story is going to inspire others to take ownership of their lives. Your story is going to demonstrate your values, your brand, your thought leadership, all the things you care about. Your story is something that people are going to be able to leverage for, and hopefully build their own stories. I share my story in the hopes that you will share your story. So this is why your story matters. And if you all have thoughts about why your story matters, comment below. Let me know what you think, because I want to hear what your take is on this. And now the second piece in terms of how to craft your personal story video. Well, again, one of the things I want to do is help you craft your own personal story video. And what this really means is to go through the key aspects of a story, right? You tell the situation of the story, give some context, right? Then you tell people what is the conflict or the problem or the challenge that you're trying to overcome. Then you talk about the steps you took to kind of go through that, evolve through the process, and how you overcame it. And then at the end of the story, there's got to be some sort of, resolution as well as lessons learned. What is the lesson you learned? What's the, if you could, the best way to start your story of your life is say, if you look at your entire life, what is the biggest thing you want people to remember about your story? And number two, what is the biggest lesson you want people to remember from your story? And if you look at those two things, you should be able to come up with a key outline or structure for your story, right? And you got to be honest. You got to be genuine, authentic, and transparent, because it's way better to create a story that's authentically you than to create a story that's programmed or designed for something else. It's manufactured. You don't want to manufacture a story. You want to and who better tell the story of you than you? Now, you may need some help with the structure and the setup. You may need to do a couple of takes. You may need my guidance or someone else's guidance or my 7-day speaker confidence program to help you guide you along the way to do it. But it is a fantastic exercise for you to understand your values, to understand not just your values, but your value, to understand your brand, to understand who you serve, to understand your why, to understand all these things. And that's why I want to make sure we help people, focus on this. So if anyone else has tips on why your story matters and how to craft your personal story videos, put them below. And you can also encourage people to check out my 7-day program. It starts August 25th. I hope people will check it out. And so, yeah, hopefully I've given you a lot of information to think about that. Now let's get into some questions.